Good morning. You're listening to Drinking Socially, the official Untappd podcast.
Your weekly look into what's happening in the Untappd community and the world of beer.
Quick note from our sponsor, Untappd. This episode is brought to you by Untappd and the Untappd merch store. Go to store.untappd.com, find some really cool stuff like glass to pour your beers into, and then use the coupon code PODCAST and you'll get 20% off your next purchase.
Wonderful. I'm Harrison. Today, we're going to talk about a great American pastime. No, not lacrosse, which is what you should have thought of first. And certainly not baseball. I'm talking about tag. You know, freeze tag, hot dog tag. When you lay on the ground like a hot dog. Octopus tag. And of course, blob tag. Or link tag, as you may regionally. It's been called link tag, I've been told.
None of these are real.
I still remember, John. I still remember my good friend Gareth, who was smaller than most. Being at the end of the long chain of tagged kids when the leader of the chain took a hard right turn to tag his ex-victim, pulling the chain with him. A little whiplash scenario happening, and Gareth, he flew right into the bleachers. Elementary school gym class. That's where the real life lessons happen, John, let me tell you. And don't worry, Gareth is fine once he learned to talk again and walk again.
Concussion protocol.
They didn't have those back then.
Right.
It was, are you all right? You're going to be late for art. Anywho, no one is getting thrown into bleachers tonight. We're going to be talking about a contactless form of tag. Tagging your friends, specifically in your check-ins. Since last year's Year in Beer revealed that John and I made it into each other's drinking buddies list because we tag each other so much, we figured we'd share some beers tonight that we actually gave each other. Talk about the Tag Your It badge, tag ourselves in this check-in too. So at home, grab a beer, tag a friend if you haven't in a while, and let's do this thing. But John, tell us more about this this fun little badge.
Well, it's not as fun as hot dog tag sounds, which...
It's dirtier than you think. I mean, like, you get dirty because you lay on the ground. Well, I guess it depends where you play it.
You play like a hot dog, or are there hot dogs involved?
Well, again, regional differences, but traditionally you get tagged and you lay on the ground like a hot dog with your arms on the side and kind of straight like a hot dog until someone untags you. I don't know. I don't remember how any tag game
like,
ends.
In Germany, would it be like sausage tag?
Yeah.
That might be totally different. On Untappd, there's a badge you can earn called Tag Your It. And the description is beautiful, as Harrison kind of pulled some inspiration from the playground to your check-in. Tag is a universally good time. Now tag some more friends while sharing your own beer adventure. And this is a badge that I think I'm going to qualify as like a freebie on Untappd, but I appreciate that it encourages you to, as you're checking in, where'd you buy it? What do you rate it? Are you drinking it from a can? But tagging your friends, I get tagged on people's check-ins all the time. Sometimes I'm not even drinking a beer with them, but it's cool. I like getting tagged in an Untappd check-in more than getting tagged in a Facebook photo.
That's
I can
terrifying.
assure you that.
That is a terrifying notification to get someone tagged you in a Facebook photo. No.
Oh no. Am I about to get fired?
Right, exactly. It's either me from elementary school, some weird picture when I have two teeth in my head and my mom dressed me, so everything's tucked in that shouldn't be. Something that I didn't remember doing. So way prefer the Untappd tag notification. And if you guys haven't done that yet, tag us. Tag us in your check-ins. It is fun to see what you guys are drinking out there. This is the perfect, again, reason to do it. If you haven't gotten this badge yet, nothing's stopping you now.
Speaking of drinking out there, what are you drinking over there? I didn't do that right, but...
Yeah, I'm picking up what you're putting down. So yeah, we have some
time.
Yeah, we do. We had some time to drink some beers. So even though we proclaimed at the start of the season it would be the year of the lager, here it is, episode 2 in a row of crazy adjunct stuff for Harrison. So maybe John had other plans, but I'm drinking Distillation of a Dream from Divine Barrel Brewing today, which I'm excited about. Again, stepping out of that comfort zone. It's classified as a fruited Berliner Weisse. It's 6% ABV, about 5 IBUs. It carries a 4.04 rating on Untappd, so great company there, great stuff. And the description from Divine Barrel, this is a coconut lemon meringue pie inspired pastry Berliner. It was brewed with loads of vibrant lemon, coconut, and velvety lactose. It was ended with cream of vanilla, tons of marshmallow, and rich graham cracker to bring it full circle. Kick back, relax, and let this tart and creamy dream dessert be distilled into beer form. So that's that sounds like a lot of stuff going on, but I'm excited to dive into it. And thank you, John, for sharing with me. This is, as you know, not my norm, but you've never steered me wrong. So I'm gonna dive right in on this and get my pie on.
I hope I can keep my 100%. I mean, I know anybody that's ever seen Harrison's desk, back when we had desks at work. If you haven't seen Harrison's desk, imagine Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory had a going out of business sale, and that was
it up. That's right. Took it all.
I'm excited. We drank a beer from The Answer last season, or maybe it was even going back to season 2. And I wish I could have had anybody that doesn't check out our episodes on YouTube, just check this one out on YouTube and tune in here in a minute or two when Harrison tastes this beer. I'm excited to see what your face looks like. I'm drinking. So this beer was a gift from Harrison, who got it from Beer Drop, who's done some advertising with Untappd. They've I don't know, they're not quite countrywide here in the U.S., but they've done a really good job of spinning up a service like Tavour, like a lot of people use, where you can get some unique. I think they mainly pull from the Denver, Colorado area, and you get some pretty cool beers. And this one, Harrison, I'm pretty sure I don't know if it was made exclusively for Beer Drop, but I think that was the only place people got. That's how you got yours, right?
That's it, yeah, as far as I know.
And so what I love about this, when we did early in season 3, we did an episode where Harrison wanted to talk about the salted nut roll, which is like a gift. A lot of the grain providers will kind of just put some salted nut rolls when the brewer gets grain dropped off. And Harrison was telling me about this, and we were looking for a beer that would kind of capture those flavor profiles. And here we are a year later. There's a beer made specifically for it. So from Jagged Mountain Brewery, this is a 10% Imperial Stout. I'm just still going after my Sky's the Limit as well. It's listed at 20 IBUs on Untappd. It hits a 3.85 rating, which is still a worthy investigation. It's pretty exciting. The tasting notes are an Imperial Stout with vanilla, peanut butter, flour, and lactose and salt, which is exciting. And a really cool quip before I asked Harrison to taste his beer and tell me about it. Their head brewer, Alyssa Thorpe, who actually appeared on a virtual happy hour with Untappd on my birthday last year. You can check out the YouTube channel. She mentioned when she started at Jagged Mountain, she was unaware of Harrison's nut roll legacy when she began brewing there. Loved coming into work, ripping open a new pallet of grain and getting this like little nut roll candy. And it inspired her, at least this is speculation on my end, to kind of create this beer for the salted nut roll, which I don't think anybody has ever tasted outside of brewers exclusively. I feel like they have a weird distribution strategy with that candy bar.
Right. It's very hard to find in actual stores, but BSG, Brewer Supply Group, that is the one that's known for dropping those off in grain deliveries. They have a lot of them, made by Pearson's, if you don't know already. But cool. All right, I'm going to get into my... Whoa, first sip. You got to be kidding me with this nose. Holy guacamole. It smells like Florida, like the beach, like a Sarasota, Florida, not fighting.
All Florida's nice.
Not knife fighting in a parking lot, Florida. Oh. Ooh. Oh, yeah. That is a trip. It is like, I don't know how they do it. I mean, I guess the ingredients are right here, but like it tastes like lemon meringue and almost has the mouth feel. If you ever had like that airiness of a meringue, had one, it's like, I don't know if it's the way it's carbonated or the way the lactose is playing with the carbonation and the fact that lemon's in here, which can play some tricks on your tongue. But wow, this is very cool. And as I always point this out, it's like not overly sweet. That's always my worry with any fruited anything. It's like all I hear when you say fruited is sugar, sugar, sugar. Of course, we all know a lot of that sugar can turn into booze, but not all of it. Some of it's not fermentable, so it sticks around, and I'm always worried I'm going to get hit with some kind of like candy beer. That is not this. It's light. It's like fluffy in a way. This is delicious. And I'm going to drink it probably faster than I mean to, but that's a good thing, I guess. Anyway, John, have you had a chance to dive into yours and get some first sips on your nut roll inspired beer?
It's going to happen live here in just a second, but I'm really grateful that you enjoy. Anytime I try and push you to drink a John fruited Berliner, I get kind of nervous that you're not going to like it.
Yeah, but once again, yeah, you're 100. You're batting 100, John. I mean, this beer really is. It's man, that lemon is so vibrant, and it's like refreshing while still confusing my brain that I'm tasting a meringue, but it's a liquid, and how is that possible? And my brain's having trouble computing, but that's good. It's good again to step out of that comfort zone.
Divine Barrel is amazing. Every brewery is amazing. They make my favorite thing to drink, but when I start to really become a fan of a brewery, it's when I've picked up 2 or 3, 4 random different cans, and every single one is like, that's great. And Divine Barrel's they're newly distributing here where we live in Wilmington, North Carolina, but they're cool. This beer that I'm drinking, awkward transition, from Jagged Mountain out in Colorado. This is, so on the last episode, I drank an adjunctless Imperial Stout. Right. This one has peanut butter flour, vanilla, a little bit of lactose and salt. I don't know how common salt is in a beer, but I can feel that there's some salt in here.
Cool.
More than I don't know how to explain that, but imagine putting a pinch of salt in your beer, right? It's not going to taste salty, but I look at salt as like a flavor exponent. It's good to put in everything. So that's probably the thing I struggle with identifying the most. I'll say this a bajillion times. There's never enough peanut butter in it. But that's subjective. A can of peanut butter would leave me speculative that they actually tried to put enough peanut butter in it. So I get the adjuncts don't come through. It's similar to your review where like it's not too sweet. The adjuncts aren't coming through and hit me in the face. It tastes like. Let me come back for one more.
Yep, get in there. It's always good to let it breathe. Accept it.
Dude, that language was perfect. Kind of flushing around in my mouth a little bit and thinking of a salted nut roll, which I've never had. So in my head, I think of like a Baby Ruth bar. I know that's probably not correct, but I can find it more in there. Not peanut butter, but peanuts, like at the ballpark.
Oh, that's great.
And this is a stout with adjuncts that you almost wouldn't have to even tell someone unless they had a peanut allergy. Then please tell them, or lactose. But it's so subtle. I would wager I wouldn't have even noticed it maybe until a 3rd or 4th sip, and then I would be like, "What the heck's going on with this thing?" This is well made. It's not super heavy, super thick like the beer I drank on the last episode. So this will be a good. I'm gonna finish this can here before we're done recording.
Go, and we're off to the races. This is it. This is fantastic. Cool. So let's dive in a little bit more into why we're drinking these beers tonight. Let's talk more about this badge, John. What have you uncovered inside Untappd about it? What do we know really about this tag, Urit badge?
Digging through the Untappd archives. It was good. It was it would be cool if the Untappd archives were like haunted spiderwebbed bookcases down in a basement somewhere. Haunted house, maybe.
The basement of Untappd floods, so that can't happen.
You're right. You're right. It would actually be pretty crappy. I don't know where these badges came from. Anyways, tag your it. So Harrison and I are each given drinking a beer that we gave each other, and Harrison and I tag each other in a lot of our check-ins. You know, I can see what Harrison picked up from a bottle shop as he's drinking on a Tuesday night, and it's just, I think he does it as a way to say like, "Ah, John, here's one you missed out on." But it's a fun, and a lot of my Untappd friends will do that as well. Honestly, it's just a way to make me jealous, but keep it up. I grab a lot of those that look exciting and I add them to my Untappd wish list. For this particular badge, you earn it. It's like I said, it's one of the easiest badges. It's a layup on Untappd. Just tag a friend in your check-in. And on this badge, the most commonly earned beers, right? The beers that people use to unlock the badge most. That's probably a better way to say it. At the top of the list is prolific on Untappd. It's Guinness, which makes sense. Guinness is one of the most checked in beers on Untappd, and I assume everybody tags at least one friend in most of their check-ins. Maybe not every, but why not, right? Make them jealous. So Guinness is the number one earner, followed shortly behind by Heineken, which was another beer that did really well in the year review from Untappd last year. Heineken barely edged out Corona. So we're basically looking at popular beers. Yeah. Brewdog's Punk IPA was on there. And I think one of the top ones on the other end was Triple Carmelite. Triple Karma.
Yeah, Carmelite. Amazing.
And the it's a statistical anomaly, right? You got Punk IPA, Corona, Heineken, Guinness, and then you've got Triple Carmelite. Almost three of those beers crammed into one,
right?
In terms of ABV, which is apparently something I like according to my Sky's the Limit badge. So that's a cool rundown on some of the badges that earn the tag your it. Some of the beers, this ABV is working. Some of the beers that people tag their friends in the. Anyways, if you're interested in seeing what the exact numbers are, check out the show notes for this episode, and we'll give you kind of a quick breakdown in there. Harrison, save me! I'm drowning here. Wow. How did you earn this? Did you go back to your own basement and look at how you earned this badge, or when you earned it, or what was going on?
Didn't have to go to the basement. I could do it right from my phone, John. Just jump into that Untappd app, click on your profile, click on badges, and I searched for it. And quickly learned that I unlocked it on September 19th, 2019 with Citra. Oh boy, I always say this wrong. And I remember when we had this beer in the office, we were all trying to say how we should say it, and we couldn't come to a conclusion. Maybe if you have this beer as well, you have the same experience, but it's citrus in essence, I think is what it is.
Close.
Citrus in
Citrusinicis. It's a pale ale from Lagunitas. They don't make it anymore, but they did in 2019. And reading that again, I remember being in the office and we got a 6-pack of it for one of our coworker Austin's birthday, and we were all looking at it, trying to say it out loud to each other, and someone said, it's citrusness. We were like, that's not right. It's citrinescence. No, it's citrinemesis. And that was a ridiculous end of the day. But it happened, and this badge commemorated the event, which is kind of funny. And I tagged a lot of people. I had like 6 or 7 people in it as we celebrated the end of the workday and our buddy Austin's birthday back in 2019. Good stuff. What about you, John? Do you remember how you unlocked this guy? I do, only because of Untappd, and I didn't do a good job on this particular check-in. I earned it from a beer called Mango Maiden, and a great name from a brewery called Hidden Cove. They're up in Wells, Maine.
Oh, okay.
Is where they're based out of. I really hope that's correct. And I think what happened here, I'm pretty sure they're in Wells, Maine. I'm going to go with that. This will be another thing that I have to correct next episode. Turns out Maine is not anyways.
You were
are in this beer.
Yep.
And my review was kind of critical, but what happened, and I think I was probably like out of town for a wedding or something, because that's likely why I would have been buying beers in or around a bottle shop in Maine. And I picked this one up, and my check-in just says, I wish I would have realized it was out of production before I bought it off the shelf. And honestly, that's an unsung hero of Untappd for me. When you see, you're a new place, a whole bunch of beers on the shelf, never seen any of them before. A lot of times I'm just going to jump in like, what styles do I like? What beers do I like? And I grab this one, and then you go to check it in on Untappd, and it'll tell you sometimes it's out of production. I was like, oh, man, exciting if it's a stout, less exciting if it's an IPA. But I tagged my wife in the check-in. She's probably my second most tagged, right behind you, Harrison.
An honor I don't take lightly. Well, yeah, at least you travel. That's good that you went to another state. I feel like all my check-ins are just here, but that's another story for another time. Not this evening, but look at us, both are in the badge. If you guys have a crazy story about it, tag us in it. Again, write in the comments. Share whatever you want with us.
Yeah.
Well, not whatever you want. Let's put a limit on it.
Remember, if it's on Twitter, to share mainly things that are safe.
Right, but you never know what may show up in this show. We take inspiration from everywhere. So if you've got some funny stories with this badge or any other, share them with us, and maybe you'll get a shout out in the future. But for today, the next shout out we're going to do is of a verified venue, which has been a real nice theme for this season so far.
It has. It's been really nice looking up, seeing what. And Harrison and I are mainly still quarantined, stuck at home or in our home blocks or cities or areas or whatever. So one of the things I loved most about Untappd was finding where's a bottle shop in that city that I'm going to visit this weekend and stuff. And failing to travel, this segment's given me a lot of joy remembering and thinking about all those other places that I don't get to visit as much.
Maybe start a list of places we'll go to when we can again. That's kind of what I'm starting to do with this segment. So today, I wanted to shine some light on Glass Jug Beer Lab. Glass Jug Beer Lab, which is out of Durham, North Carolina. So not too far away from us in Wilmington. And I see it. I always saw it a lot popping up in people's check-ins. And they're a brewery, so I see their beers being checked in nearby. And people talk about it and kind of wanted to know a little bit more. Always wanted to know a little more about it. And today saw that someone recently checked in the beer I enjoyed tonight, Distillation of a Dream, that they bought from Glass Jug Beer Lab, and thought, perfect, what a great excuse to learn a bit more about it. Highlight tonight in the show as our verified venue of the week. So, and I'm glad I did, because what a cool place. It's kind of like they're doing everything. They have 2 locations now, both kind of in the Durham, Raleigh area. And they have a 3-barrel experimental brewery. So they're making their own beer. But they also have a tank.
That's cool.
So that's cool, right? It's small enough we can crank out lots of different things. And pretty much all of their beers are either rotation. They have a rotating hazy IPA and a rotating West Coast IPA to do with tons of different lagers, which that's how I first came across them, come from kind of their lager series. But they have a huge tap room with tons of guest taps as well. They have a large beer garden. And they have a bottle shop too. So you can go there and hang out, or to grab stuff to go, grab their own beer, grab other local beers. So it really is one of those places where every time you go to it, it'll be an entirely different experience, which those are great to find and places that, I always gravitate towards. So that was cool to learn more about them. If you haven't checked them out, jump on Untappd, begin their verified venue. You can see what they have available now and go ahead and support them if you're in the area. And something really cool that I saw, one of the beers they brewed, and they really do kind of in their mission statement talk about how they love experimenting with different beer ideas and different things in beer, is a beer called Donut Touch My Coffee. It's a collab with Bond Brothers Brewing, another one, local brewery up there. And it is a blonde ale with coffee, vanilla, cinnamon, lactose, and donuts in the beer. Which I know that's a thing a lot of breweries are doing, but for me it was like, what? Donuts in the beer? Holy cow. And 10 dozen donuts to be exact. So 10 dozen donuts.
And a pun.
Right. Yeah. I'm sure there was. And so they're, so yeah, right. The pun in the name. You're right. Anyway, 10 dozen donuts and 3 barrels of beer is a lot of donuts. That's a lot of donuts and not a lot of beer. And they're from Duck Donuts, which is I think a relatively local donut chain. They make awesome, those like really nice kind of like flaky, warm, hot off the press donut, gourmet donuts, if you will, if you know what I'm talking about. So they're a favorite donut of mine, which is, we can shelve that. But anyway, this sounded cool. Again, you can tell like I'm trying hard to make it Year of the Lager, but you may be watching me devolve in a Joker-esque like devolution to someone
it's like
who
being
likes,
on a diet. If you just keep saying you're on a diet, it's almost like you are really.
Right, tomorrow I'm just eating candy. I've decided if I only, it's just about calories, man. Anyway, but I thought that was awesome, and it really, was true to form from what I learned from Glass Jug, is that it seems like when it comes to experimenting, they're definitely going to go out there and try some cool things, which kind of made me think, and I wanted to talk to you about this, John, about that kind of what I'll call the adjunct bubble, which maybe is a pun, maybe is misleading. But all these beers now, I had one last episode that had a bunch of cool stuff in it. I'm having one tonight that has a bunch of crazy things in it with the vanilla, like marshmallow, graham cracker. Adjuncts are here, but are they here to stay? I mean, and where's the line? Are we one day going to have a beer with like the founding fathers' ashes and Marilyn Monroe's lipstick in it? Or what are we like? Where does it go? Where does the line stop? Where does the weirdness begin? Is there a line? So what say you, John? You're the expert here in adjuncts. What do you got?
I'll take expert in that I've drank a lot of them. And so there is no line other than like your margins and your potential for failure, right? Like I guess the line is, can you sell a beer brewed with styrofoam peanuts and sand powder? Probably not, but if anybody could, it'd be like Dogfish Head will make one. It'll taste freaking great. But I don't want it to. The line is like, yeah, don't make a ranch and peanut butter and jelly bubblegum chicken wing. That's too much.
Ooh.
Although I would taste it to make sure.
Yeah. The Rausch beer, that'd be good,
dude. Yeah, please push the line. You'll know when you haven't sold any of that beer and you're still you like any of that beer. You'll know, okay, we found the line.
Or just sit on that beer for 6 months and then sell it again and see if it moves as an aged version of it. No, don't do that. Yeah. Well, maybe do that.
I hope it never. I hope adjuncts remain in beer. Not that. I mean, like when I think of a lager, I don't think of a cinnamon marshmallow, whatever. But in a lot of the beers, and I applaud you, Harrison. Last episode, I forced you into a peanut butter stout. This episode, we're doing basically lemon meringue Berliner style, and it's not. It'll never be like your fridge beer. I don't think you're going to crush a 15 pack of adjunct heavy beer, but it affords people, in my head romantically, it affords a brewer the ability to take something old, a tried and true recipe for a brown ale, and then expand on it and influence it and adjust it with some of their art, which is what a lot of food has done over the last 20 years. Like you take a traditional American cuisine and then you apply, like you master that and you apply a little bit of finesse to it, and now you've got a really weird meatloaf. There's a brewery in Charlotte down the road from Divine Barrel that's fermenting a beer right now called Beer is Dead. And it is maybe the first of its kind. It's a pastry barley wine. Oh. And check this out. Right. They're brewing it with, I have to read, they're brewing it with churros, cinnamon, pecan pie, Nutella, maple syrup, marshmallows, Biscoff cookies, honey, whipped cream, and sprinkles.
Oh, it's sprinkles.
If there's a line that's close to it, if anything, just because I don't know, you probably won't be able to sell it for enough money to justify the mess that's going to make.
Yeah,
but
right.
On the other end, I kind of want to try it. I might not love it. I'm not expecting to, but there's pecan pie in there. And maple syrup, which is a luxury I can't even afford for my pancakes. So I would like it in my beer.
And that's the kind of beer that I would learn about it, look it up on Untappd, and if anyone in their check-in said something like, wow, I'd be like, I need to know why the wow, I need to know.
What does that even mean? Just emojis of a sunglasses face. Right. All right, I'm going to buy a 4-pack.
Exactly. This guy drank it, and he's taking a picture of a bus ticket to New Jersey. He changed his whole life because of this beer. I got to get a piece. So, yeah, there's things like that. Right. I mean, that sounds crazy, but yeah, I'd be lying if I didn't say I wasn't curious. So here we are.
It's probably in today's packaging standards, it's a 16-ounce adventure. If you don't like it, go to your neighbor's house and say, hey, I brought you something. You can try it. But maybe that's often what I do to my neighbor. He's a great guy. He drinks Bud Light mainly, and he probably hates craft beer because he only gets the ones I don't like. So if I can wrap up if I can wrap up episode 4, it's a little early for the season yet. Tag Your It is the easiest badge to earn on Untappd outside of maybe the newbie badge. Harrison and I still do not have a quote-unquote badge challenge set up. We tried to think of one. We haven't. So please go to Twitter, go to Instagram, hit up That Beer Podcast, and let Harrison and I know, do you have a cool idea for us to compete over a badge? First to earn, gluten-free. Don't do maxing out New Brew Thursday. We won't probably live long enough, but if you have any ideas for like a badge challenge that Harrison and I can keep up with during this season, that'd be great. Adjuncts are not dead, never will be. Drinking with friends is always better, provided there's a safe distance in between. But Untappd is a great way to circumvent social distancing. I'm going to tag Harrison in this beer check-in, and I haven't even seen him in weeks.
That's right, other than right here.
Fair.
Far away, but not that far. We're just across town. But certainly a safe distance. And next week, I want you guys all to grab your galoshes and your starter jacket and head out to your favorite bottle shop, because we're going to earn or level up the To Go Please badge. I want you to do it with us. So that'll be a grand old time. Indeed. I'm looking forward to it. I don't even know what we'll drink. We'll figure that out next week. That's part of the fun. But until then, if you're watching this on YouTube, you can like and subscribe to not miss out on the next episode and any fun things we may drop in between. Other than that, we will see you guys next week.
See you next Wednesday.
Right. Cheers!
Cheers!